And welcome to our first Hangout of 2016. Congratulations again. We're so excited to have you join our family. So our Hangouts with Wildcat Welcome are going to be monthly, but we just wanted to get started right now before the summer and do a special edition for you, our early decision students. So today we want to chat a little bit about what you can expect in the next few months, what your first year may look like, and most importantly, answer the questions that you're sending us live right now. Remember, you can begin submitting your questions right now. You can tweet us at #WWHangout. You can message the Wildcat Welcome Facebook page, or you can email us at wildcatwelcome@northwestern.edu. So before we get to your questions, we're going to introduce ourselves. We're the Board of Directors for New Student and Family Programs, 10 upperclassmen who work closely with the office to design and organize processes and programs to help your transition to Northwestern. Our job is to make this place of books and buildings your home. So to begin, we're all going to say our names, hometowns, majors, and the favorite part of our first year. So I'm Alana. I'm a junior from Los Angeles, and I'm double majoring in political science and journalism. My favorite memory from my first year at Northwestern was my first football game, when I really felt like I was a part of this community and we were all kind of in this together. Who wants to go next?
I guess I'll go. Hi, my name's Alan Wang. I live in Beijing, China. I'm studying neuroscience and philosophy. I'm a pre-med. My favorite aspect of my first year, probably like biking along the Lakeville in spring quarter when it was like really, really nice. It's just so beautiful and it smells good.
It smells like spring.
It smells like spring. It's so good.
Awesome. Hi everyone, my name is Rocio. I'm from Chicago, Illinois, and Latina Studies. And I think my favorite aspect from my first year was going to the first cultural event here on campus and just getting to meet people who shared the same experiences that I had.
My name is Wendy. I am a junior studying mechanical engineering. I'm from Chicago. And my favorite aspect of freshman year was my close friends that I made on my dorm in my res hall. All of us, my roommate and then two other people on our floor just became really close friends, and now we still live together. So I really appreciated those friendships I made since freshman year.
Hi y'all, my name is Ben, and I'm majoring in psychology and learning and organizational change. I'm from Franklin, Tennessee, and my favorite aspect from my freshman year probably have to be just like meeting amazing, such intelligent people in my classes as well as my extracurricular activities. Never cease to amaze me.
Hey, I'm Isaac Sims. I'm from Westchester, New York. I'm studying RTBF here, Radio, Television, Film in the School of Communication. And I guess my favorite memory from freshman year was finally getting to eat dinners instead of my parents. It's so funny, you never think about like every day after school you go home and you eat dinner with your parents or whoever you live with, your guardians, whoever. But when you're at school, when you're at college here, it's like, oh, I get to eat dinner with my best friends now. That's amazing. And so I really love that transition.
Cool.
I hope your parents are watching.
I don't even know I'm on the board.
So my name is Miles. I'm from Port Washington, New York, which is on Long Island, if you're... I'm studying material science and engineering here, and thinking back to my first year, I think I really enjoyed the proximity to Chicago, like coming from New York to Evanston, which is close to Chicago. It's like I have a whole new city to explore. So I had to be a tourist on the weekends, and that was really fun.
That's awesome. My name is Elizabeth. I am a junior trumpet performance major from Auburn, Alabama. And I think I was going to say something similar, actually, but the opposite. I am from a small college town. So coming to Chicago was a huge transition for me, and being able to utilize all the opportunities in Chicago, especially for concerts and other performances, and seeing my peers on campus perform as well as professionals in the area was incredible, and it still is.
Hi, I'm Chris Rosales. I'm from Cary, Illinois, and I'm studying industrial engineering and psychology. And my favorite memory or aspect of freshman year was probably continuous pickup basketball with my floor all through winter and spring quarter. That was a lot of fun.
Winter?
Continuous.
Yeah.
Just never
outside?
In the gyms. we have gyms here.
Hi, my name is Amake Mate. I am from Chicago as well. I'm studying biology and sociology, and I guess my favorite aspect of my freshman year was hanging out in the lounges in my res hall. I really got to have a lot of conversations with people that I really appreciated, and I met some of my best friends then.
Great, thanks guys. So we are going to get to our very first question, and remember to please submit questions throughout. We are here for you. We want to hear from you. So our first question is from Jeff. What's Wildcat Welcome? Is it something I should be thinking about? Great question.
Hi, Jeff.
Hi, Jeff.
Hi. I guess I can answer then. I was just going to say hi. But Wildcat Welcome is Northwestern's orientation, but it's more than just orientation. It's not what your friends at other institutions might be looking forward to going through during the summer or right before starting classes. It is an approximately week-long program where you are in a PA group, which stands for Peer Advisor Group, with anywhere from like a handful to 15 of your peers, probably, roughly that number. And it's your first introduction to Northwestern. So that means not just walking around campus trying to figure out which buildings are which, seeing the gyms that Chris introduced us to a second ago, but just really starting to get your feet wet in this amazing community and having important discussions and also doing all the academic advising that happens on campus with your peer advisor.
What makes it different from some of the other orientation programs at other schools is that it's the week before classes start, and it's also like the entire incoming class all together. So it's not like fragmented throughout the summer where like people do individual sessions. It's like all together, which is really cool.
Does someone want to say something about the PA relationship, maybe?
Yeah, I can talk about that. So with, like Elizabeth said, with your PA group, which are school specific, you'll be coming in with a group of either, like Elizabeth said, 5 to like 15, and you're led by a PA who is either a sophomore, a peer advisor, a sophomore, a junior, or a senior, again, in your school, that will really lead you through difficult discussions, specific, like looking at points of identity, looking at like getting you introduced to our new community, and then also taking you to really like cool, fun places across campus, and then also getting you acclimated to campus, whether that's dining halls, whether that's like the gyms, different places on campus to like study. And so your peer is someone who's a current student here. Your peer advisor is someone who's a current student here that really is going to help you, like not only during Wildcat Welcome, but throughout your time at Northwestern to help you transition into your new home.
All of us here were peer advisors at one point.
We've all stuck with our students through their whole first year and then beyond through their whole Northwestern experience, which I think is really special. Okay, our next question is from Carson. What is the housing process supposed to be and where should I live? Great question, Carson. Anyone want to take that?
I could tackle it. Thanks, Carson. Yeah, so the housing process this year, it looks a little bit different every year, and I think that they've like really optimized it this year for you. So I guess like in terms of like what the process looks like before where should you live. So the first thing you'll do is you will pay your housing deposit, which is due by March 31st. The absolute latest that you can do that is May 1st. And so once you pay the deposit, then you'll get your housing contract. And so in the contract, you'll list 3 places that you might want to live. And so we'll circle back to like, where should I live? But you'll be able to list 3 places that you want to live. And also you'll fill out like a short questionnaire to match you with a roommate. So that's just like basic lifestyle. Think, are you a night person? Are you a morning person? So you are matched intentionally. And if you do meet someone that you want to live with, either from home or someone that you know, there's also a spot for you guys to mutually preference each other, and then you can be matched. And then on July 1st, you will you'll have an email and you'll open it and be like, this is where you're living, this is your roommate, and it'll all feel so real and be super exciting. And then, so I guess like to circle back to the idea of a roommate and also where should I live, I think the first thing of like, what should my roommate be? I would say to be like really open and don't feel like you need to find someone beforehand. We do know like in the office and just like on campus that about 94% of students coming in choose to get matched through what will look like the survey for you guys this year. It's just like a really great experience in terms of being able to meet new people. And by no means does your roommate dictate what your social circle might be, or like maybe you'll be best friends and like that's cool, or maybe you'll just like live together and that's also okay. And then where should I live? So this one, like I'll answer it, but then I think it's also gonna be really helpful to have some other perspective. So like one thing people think about a lot is like, do I want to live on North Campus or South Campus? Where North Campus has a lot of like hard sciences and engineering classes, and South Campus is more humanities. I will say that regardless of major, people live north or south. And that's something I think is like really valuable, is that like your neighbors will have like, you know, I'm an engineer and my neighbor might be a theater major or an English major. And that helps me gain perspective. So as an engineer, I lived north my first year, but then I also lived south my sophomore year, and now as a junior, I lived south. So I think that there's a lot of value in living both places. So that didn't really answer the question. But let's hear some more perspectives.
Yeah, building off that, there's also like a lot of non-academic reasons why you may preference north or south. South Campus is closer to the heart of Evanston, which has like a lot of shopping. There's a lot of places to get food. We have Whole Foods, CVS is there. So if you're worried about making treks like in the winter, you may consider moving down south or preferencing that first, just so you don't have to worry about staying in the cold for that much longer. That being said, north has a lot of other great advantages, like some of the sports facilities that we have up there and some of the recreational activities you can engage in. So it's really about, yeah, it's really about kind of what you're looking to value in terms of where you live in terms of proximity to other things.
Every one of our friends has lived in a different building, and everybody says their building is best. So you can't go wrong. You're not going to get it wrong. It literally takes 15 minutes to walk from one side of campus to the other. No matter how cold it is, the shuttles are running. Like, you can do it. It's not hard.
It's really not bad. Speaking as someone from Alabama, where it's warm most of the time, all the time, it really, I walk fast most of the time. Sometimes I walk slow and it still only takes me 15 minutes. On a good day, it takes me like 5.
Yeah.
So you really can't go wrong.
There's like a really big street like Sheridan Road, which like is like our entire campus is along Sheridan Road from north to south. So it's like really easy to walk.
And just to like add on to that, so I lived in a residential hall my freshman year, and I lived in a res college my sophomore year, and I think that those were two really like different but really great opportunities to like meet different communities and like be immersed in different communities. And there's not really much of a difference besides like having a theme and not having a theme, but it's really meeting the people that makes a difference.
Absolutely. Okay, so our next question is from Mackenzie. Hi, Mackenzie. How long does it take to get acquainted with campus?
I think it really depends on the person, but we do have the Northwestern app on the App Store that has the map, and you can track yourself where you are and see where you're going. There's information about buildings, as well as throughout Wildcat Welcome, you'll have a lot of opportunities to learn about the campus and get acquainted.
Yeah, so during Wildcat Welcome, you can anticipate getting a very thorough campus tour from your peer advisor, and it will be extremely specialized to your group, so you won't have to worry about feeling unacquainted with campus by the time you begin classes. In fact, you'll probably have a much better head start than most other people.
The best part about the app is it looks like you're texting your friends. Like, no one has to know you're looking at the app. So you just like, I get lost a lot, and I never looked super lost. So it's pretty easy to get around. Our next question is from Josh. What exactly are placement tests and how are they used? Looking at anyone.
I can talk about that a little bit. So to those of you that tuned in to the parent webinar yesterday, this is also a question that we answered, was looking at the placement test for students. So we want to clarify that placement tests will be taken online, and they are very individualized to your plan. So it depends on what school you're coming and it depends on what scores are coming in from APs, IB scores, and so that's something that we can't generalize across the board and say, oh, the class of 2020 has to take this and this test. And so definitely wait your edition for Purple Pride that will be arriving in May, that you can look through and work through exactly what type of placement tests you need to take. Because I remember I was like really stressed about that too, and then like once Purple Pride came, I just like followed it and it explained everything.
Also, definitely check out the New Student Family Program website because it has a lot of information that could be useful for you regarding placement tests.
So circle back. Hey, Wendy, what's Purple Prep? Or anyone on board?
Purple Prep is this really cool publication that you will get a hard copy of, but I'm pretty sure it's also available online as a PDF, so you can check that out. It's linked on our website. and it has all of the important information as far as Northwestern it goes. Just in general, it's all there. So if you have any question, chances are the answer is in Purple Prep. So that's kind of your first point of reference for anything NU related from here on out.
Before you get here, your peer advisor helps you out.
True.
Absolutely. So this one's from Daniel. Do early decision students typically go to accepted student days? If not, how do most people find their roommates and know where to live?
I could dive into so accepted students days or admitted students days. They're called Wildcat days by the Office of Undergraduate Admissions here. So those are just for regular decision students. And I guess like a bit of the rationale behind that, from what I understand, is that they're meant to help students make a decision on where they're going to go to university or go to college. And what's really cool is that you guys already know that you're coming to Northwestern. Woo! So the information from that day just really won't be geared towards you. And so you'll like hear that, so like the content, I guess like you would have thought about already, like you're decided on Northwestern. And then the second part of that question, I'll pass off.
Finding a roommate.
Yes.
Finding a roommate.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I actually, my freshman year, I actually used the paired system, the survey, and it actually worked out really well for me. And we found each other that way. And it was a little bit different then, but we ended up living together, having not known each other, and that worked out really well for me. So I guess I can't really speak on other ways people usually find roommates, but I do know a large majority of the incoming class does use that survey. And I would say in most experiences, it works out really well.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
So just like a reminder, class of 2019, only 6% of people requested specifically like a person that they knew. So it's really pretty common for people to find their roommate randomly, and like Chris said, it tends to work out. I would also add that you don't select your number one building, you select 3 and then you're placed in one of those. So it's a pretty hassle-free process.
Yeah.
Especially this year, we've made it pretty simple for new students. So you guys are pretty lucky. Okay, next question. What is the best time to start contacting clubs in which I want to participate? This question's from Dylan.
Cool.
Oh man.
So I would definitely not worry about that, especially during the summer. Please take time to enjoy your last couple of days before you get on campus. There are so many activities that we have throughout Wildcat Welcome, throughout the first couple of weeks of fall quarter, that are supposed to get you acquainted with the types of activities that we have on campus, and then eventually you find out more specifically about each club. But there's also this really great website that we have called, what's it called?
Wildcat
Connection. Wildcat Connection, and yeah, and that has actually like a list of all the clubs that we have available. I don't think it has contact information, so please don't like.
It does now,
Okay,
yeah.
awesome. So now it does. When I looked at that, I was applying to Northwestern. I like name dropped a couple clubs into my application. It's like, oh, I want to do all this cool stuff. But like, I always kept going back to that as like an actual like checklist of things that I want to like reach out to and get involved with. It's really comprehensive, and you can sort and like filter by all types of different I guess categories of activity.
When you get on campus for Wildcat Welcome, we're gonna have like an involvement expo, which is gonna be like a bunch of different activities sorted into general areas. So you'll be able to explore like Greek life, you'll be able to explore like student government, and so that'll be a thing during Wildcat Welcome. And then during the first week of classes, we also have an activities fair, which is like specifically each club will get like a booth, and you'll be able to talk to student leaders about like their clubs.
There's so much time to get involved, not just your first year, but like every year you're on campus. Yeah. Great. So this one's from Sarah. How difficult is it to maintain a high GPA? This is a little bit of a stumper.
That's not, I guess it sounds unpromising, but no, we're all just thinking on it because I guess it depends on how you clarify what high GPA would be. So like, I don't think anyone really considers a high GPA to be a number here. It's just always self-satisfaction. And I think the important thing, at least like I always keep in mind, is that a high GPA is something that I feel comfortable with doing, like the amount of work that I've done. So for me, it's like classes can be hard, but also classes can be easy. And as long as I feel like I've learned something from the class in general, I really, truly don't care about my GPA. And a lot of times, like employers nowadays, they even say like, if you don't think it's relevant to you and your experiences, you don't even put it on a resume. So I really, for me, like maintaining a high GPA is how much work you put into it from your own student end, but also how much work is like comfortable to yourself and staying healthy with yourself. And I think that's probably the most important thing.
Yeah.
I mean, and this also brings up like another part of coming to Northwestern. So you've been admitted because you like Northwestern's like we're a pretty great institution, and y'all are like some pretty smart. You know, every year, every like class of 2020 is like the best and brightest, and we're like, it's not us. Like at one point, it was the class of 2017 that was the best and brightest. And so that's like, I see that as like a huge benefit that you're now going to be surrounded by such smart people that you can learn from and who bring different perspectives, and you'll just be like amazed at like the caliber of student here, and like people will perceive you the same way. And also with that now is that you're not always going to be at the top in your classroom. So everyone around you has worked just as hard in high school and is, you know, everyone here is like set up for success and like is in the position to succeed. But, you know, just in terms of like thinking about like who you're surrounded by in the playing field, you know, all the students here are really high caliber. So there are some kind of like, I guess, it's like your normal will be new. So whereas like your normal at school is like you're at like the top, but here the normal is much more flat across the board. So that's just something to keep in mind. And I think overall it's a huge positive.
I think to kind of generalize that question altogether, it says maintaining like high coursework and like a high course load. Your advisors are always there for you whenever you do advising sessions. So they'll make sure you're never going to overload yourself in a quarter, but also you're going to have resources in your peer advisor, not just during Wildcat Welcome. They're a student that's gone through likely class selections that you've gone through or taking classes similar to what you will take. So they will also help you out with classes. They'll make sure that you're stress free. But if you do become stressed, there are resources on campus again, like your advisors, your peer advisors, CAPs, other things on campus that if you feel like you're getting stressed out, like you do take care of yourself, and there are resources there to help you out.
A lot of like academic resources too, where if you feel like you're struggling, or like even if you just want to do like extra work for class, we have like a bunch of different like study groups, office hours from professors, TAs will hold office hours.
The Writing Center.
This Writing Center can help you with essays. There's just like so many different resources. So a lot of it is also like being familiar with those resources and knowing when to go use them. It's a big part of being successful.
Just generally about like the kind of academic culture that I think we all find at Northwestern, it's definitely not as like cutthroat as you might think it might be, or like a preconceived notion that you might have going to Northwestern. I've always found that like in extremely like challenging courses that the students really push each other to succeed well, and they always like want to build each other up. And it's so refreshing to like go to a school with like so many smart people that want your friends and your like peers to succeed.
Yeah.
So this next question is from Diana. What is your favorite part about campus? This is anybody, any feeling. It's a good question.
Okay, well, definitely some of the benefits of Northwestern, like we mentioned earlier, is that everything is about a 15-minute walk away. So you could quite literally be in downtown Evanston and then 10 minutes later be like right next to Lake Michigan and the rocks. And so, of course, you'll become more familiar with our campus in general, but the accessibility in general of going to North Campus, from North Campus to South Campus, or heading to a res hall and then going to a different dining hall. I mean, everything is pretty close by, so you never feel like you have a lot of empty space. Like there are always friendly faces around, and so it's not too small of a community and it's not too big. It feels just right.
I guess, take it away.
I'd say my favorite spot on campus is like by the lake field. There's a gorgeous view of the Chicago skyline.
What's Lakeville?
Right. So the Lakeville is kind of like a man-filled part of the lake. It's not right. It's hard. It's filled with dirt. Right.
It covered it really pretty good. It's a lake.
So it's a lake. It's artificially filled by people.
But you don't know this.
Right.
It's just a lake.
Yeah.
That's why
So
it's called the Lakeville.
right.
It's a grassy area. It's like by the lake.
If you see pictures of like
It's
a
Lake
park
Michigan.
along the lake, that's what we're talking about. There's so many.
Right. So yeah, so that spot. But there is a gorgeous, skyline of Chicago that you can always see, and I don't know, it always like hits me that I'm. Sometimes you feel like you're far away, but you see that and you feel so connected to Chicago as well.
Mm.
Yeah, this is gonna sound really dorky, but going off of the skyline thing, there's one practice room in the new building that everyone fights over in the new music building that opens this year, because it has a south-facing window, so you can see the whole Chicago skyline. So then, as you're practicing, not only are you getting lots of sunlight, but you can actually like kind of see where the so Chicago Symphony Orchestra, Symphony Hall is, and you can just be like, this is why I'm practicing. That's
You're
what I
literally
do
working
anyway.
towards
Literally, yeah. Yeah.
But kind of to add on to that, there's some other like really cool places to hang out on campus, and I really like Norris, the Norris Student Center, just because it's kind of the hub of campus, and it's a place where you pretty much can always see a friendly face, and people are always going in and out, and so it's nice to like sit there and relax and see people that you know.
Mm-hmm. So this one's from Haroon on Snapchat. I always hear how Northwestern is bikeable, but how safe are the bikes? Is it better to get one nice expensive bike or just plan to get a few cheap ones over the course of a year? I think maybe Elizabeth has some.
I have some strong feelings about this question. So I actually messed up on this, and that's why I can talk about it. Because I actually had a bike stolen because I did not invest in a lock. So you want to lock your bike. Definitely buy a lock. Specifically, the U-locks are really good. Don't buy a cable lock. They will get cut. Yeah, it'll happen. So definitely invest in a U-lock. I have a good friend who has a saying that's for, I mean, obviously not a direct comparison, but like for as much as your bike costs, you want your lock to be twice as expensive, which obviously isn't realistic, like actually how that works out, but kind of it is, because you really, if you're going to have a nice bike, definitely have a nice bike on campus, whatever gets you around, whatever you enjoy riding. I have a good friend who cycles all the time competitively, and he has his bike on campus, and he still has it. It never has gotten stolen, but he does have a good lock, and knows, not to leave it abandoned for like a week. So if you just leave your bike out for a week, then obviously like that's maybe not a good idea. But if you have a lock, it's totally fine. And you can actually there is a service that stores bikes over the winter as well. So as far as winter weather, that kind of thing, you don't really need to buy like a bag. You can buy these bags to put over your bike. You really don't need to get one of those because you can put your bike in storage.
There's also a way to register your bike with NUPD in case it does get stolen.
Yeah.
I would say I've used a
NUPD, because we love our acronyms, is Northwestern University Police Department.
And I would just say I just bought a U-lock on Amazon. Like I don't really know what type or what brand it was, but it was like average like price. And I've had my bike for 3 years, and I park it off campus and on campus. And this goes back to like I go back and forth from north and south throughout the day, so like it's not far, especially if you have a bike. And then it's like nice to see people as like you're biking down like Sheridan. Yeah. And my bike has been fine the past 3 years. Too.
Yeah, and I will say, as long as you're responsible. So not like what I did. Now that I have invested in a lock, which you can actually even a lot of the time buy used, and they're really not expensive, and they are unbreakable. They last forever. My bike has been fine, and I bike everywhere now. It's great.
So this one's from Frankie. What about pre-orientation programs? Should I think about doing them, and how do I learn which ones are available to me? Maybe someone who's done a pre-o program could answer this one first.
Yeah, I did Catalyst. So it's a pre-orientation program, and you can learn about them. You can learn about all of them by going through the Northwestern New Student Family Programs Office website. There are 6 pre-orientation programs, and you can find the listed on there. And essentially the pre-orientation program is before Wildcat Welcome. So before Wildcat Welcome and before classes, you go for like ranging from like a couple days to like a week-long trip with your peers. And again, this is led by current students leading these programs, and you're like surrounded by new students coming in who are in the same place as you. And for my pre-orientation program, we really just did a lot of bonding and a lot of getting to know each other, and getting advice and mentorship from upperclassmen before arriving. I really enjoyed my time on Catalyst, but you can look them all up on the website. And applications for the programs will open May 3rd, and they will be due June 1st.
What are the 6 programs, and maybe is there a cost?
Yeah. So the 6 programs that will be listed on our website are Catalyst, Alternative Spring Break, or student break. Haha. Alternative student break.
We're very close. We're like over here.
Yes, I was on spring break. Alternative student breaks. Project Wildcat, the freshman urban program, Freshman Fest with Hilo, which I went on my freshman year, and first night at Shield Catholic Center. And so, as Alana mentioned, like you might see a cost associated with each of these programs on the website when you register. But like there also is financial aid available or scholarships based on need for all of these programs, which you can definitely access through the website when you are looking at the POPs or pre-orientation programs.
Everybody that goes on them really loves them, and it's a great way to meet a few people and possibly get acquainted with campus before Wildcat Welcome even begins. So it's definitely something to look into if it sounds interesting to you right now. Okay, so this question is from Alice. How do we choose our minors? Is it okay if the minor isn't related to our major? Also, how does the quarter system work?
So I can kind of talk about minors. So I'm majoring in learning and organizational change and psychology, and I'm minoring in music technology, which is a completely different field. It just comes from my hobby and kind of my passion, side passion in like music. So you definitely don't have to be in the same school, or it doesn't have to relate to what you're currently studying. You should definitely wait to declare minors until you get to campus and you kind of talk to your advisors face to face. Definitely not something to worry about this early. You can look into it. A lot of the websites will have a lot of the major websites and the Northwestern website will have a lot of information about minors, but it's not something to worry too much about.
So what about the quarter system?
I do just want to say, like, don't feel compelled to like do more than one major if you don't want to, or like do a major and a minor. Like, it's like not necessary. I came in with like a bio major, like I wanted to do bio, and then I like kind of like discovered my interests as like time went on, and then through like courses that you take, you kind of realize like what it is that you want to study, and so just like don't feel pressured to like find anything yet, because I'm sure your interests will change over time. And I think that's also like the great thing about the quarter system, because you get to take a lot of classes over the course of the year. So there's like technically three quarters of the academic school year, one in fall, one in winter, one in spring. And then the average is people normally take 4 classes per quarter.
A quarter is 10 weeks.
Yeah, a quarter is about 10 weeks. So about like 3 months, right? Is that right?
Yeah.
Math.
Mm-hmm. With reading we can.
Yeah. And what's great is that it ends up like you get to take like 12 classes a year essentially, whereas like semester-based schools will normally take like 10 courses a year. So it like really gives you more time to explore, gives you more time to like take classes, which is cool. I really like that.
If you love a class, you can take multiple classes with that professor in that field.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not crazy about a class, it ends pretty quickly, so you don't have to endure it too long. I find that I'm just really never bored in the quarter system. I get to explore a lot of things, and I never really feel like I'm bogged down in the information. It's just like things are moving quickly, which is what I like.
I will say I had 2 siblings that went to semester school systems, and like one of my concerns coming in was are my classes going to be condensed into smaller time frames, taking the same amount of classes? And they're not. The professors handle it very well. They teach you like the same exact things you would learn at a semester institution. They teach you like what you need to know, but you're never gonna feel like you are speeding through material. You're never gonna feel like if you miss one class, you're done for. It works out really well, and the professors are very good at working on the quarter system. So definitely a non-concern. I would say the midterm scheduling, pretty standard as well. So.
Great. So can somebody elaborate a little bit more about how meal plans work? And what is your favorite dining hall on campus? This one is also from Josh. Thanks for tuning in, Josh.
Yeah.
I think this is another Josh.
It's Josh Golding. It's not Josh McKenzie. We love all Joshes.
Okay, I can touch on meal plan a little bit. So living in residential halls, you are also, you get a meal plan. There's a couple different options. You will have a base one that you choose when you do choose residence halls, but I believe you have the ability to change it within the first quarter, and obviously your peer advisor can help you out with that should you choose to do that. There's an unlimited meal plan. There's a 14 meals a week, and is there another one?
There's a 13.
And a 13.
There's a 6 too.
And there's a
But
6.
those are for office.
Yeah, so the main 3 are the unlimited, 14, and 13. And so you'll have on those meal plans, meals within the dining halls, and they work on all dining halls on campus. And you also have these things called equivalency meals, which I won't get into too much detail with those, but those can be used at the convenience stores on campus that you can buy snacks at. And there's some of those in Norris, in the Foster Walker Complex dining halls. As far as, was the other question my favorite dining hall?
Yeah.
Ooh, that's tough. I will say Foster Walker Complex, so there's 2 dining halls in there. I would say east side of it has a really good burrito bar. That would be my favorite.
I think it's also important to remember that like 14 meals a week might seem like it's not enough for a normal person, but it's usually enough for a college. Yeah, it's definitely more than enough. So don't get too like worried about that.
If you're really interested, you can learn more about our meal plan options on the Northwestern Dining website, and those are all available anytime, any day.
Yeah.
So, how often do you guys visit Chicago? Do you get 4-day weekends? Victoria.
That'd be great.
So I can take this one. I am in Medill, the School of Journalism, and we are really involved in Chicago. I'm really lucky. I get to go for my classes. I do a lot of reporting downtown. I would say I go probably twice a month minimum. It's super easy. There's an intercampus shuttle that goes between our campus and the law school campus, and that's easy. It's free for students. The L is super convenient when you learn how to take public transportation. You can drive. It's about a 45-minute drive, but it's pretty convenient, and I like to take advantage of it, not just for like fun and eating and shopping and exploring and getting to know the city, but also for building off of what I'm learning in classes. It's like a really big tool for me.
I do research at the medical school, which is in Chicago. So I'm like down there twice a week. And there's like a really nice like intercampus shuttle, which is free for Northwestern students. And like, that's great. Like, it's super convenient. So, yeah.
Just to jump in, so when you get to campus or before, at some point, you'll get your handy dandy wild card, your student ID. And this gets you free access to the Museum of Contemporary Art downtown and also the Chicago Art Institute, which are like pretty great museums. So once you go downtown, you have like a lot to do that you don't even have to pay for.
As to the question about 4-day weekends, some people can organize their
That's
schedule
possible.
so they don't have
It
class
depends on
Friday,
your
but
I've
it's
seen it.
super individualized.
I'd say it's very unlikely that your freshman year you're going to have that because most classes will have discussion sections that will meet on a Friday.
But this quarter I don't have class on Friday, so that's nice.
I don't
I have Thursday,
class.
Friday off.
Oh
So
wow!
I
So
got
he
4 days.
does.
He does have 4 days.
Yeah. So when you are upperclassmen, that can happen to you too. Oh yeah, Rocio does too. We hang out on Fridays. We watch.
I think it's more standard that I'm in 5. Okay, so if I want to double major, for example, with international studies and marketing, even if they're not in the same college, can that be done? This question is from Elna.
I will say on the marketing, we don't have a marketing major, unfortunately. We do have an integrated marketing communications certificate, which I'm currently doing. It's a great program. But to kind of answer your point on double majors, I would say really one major is really enough. And I'm coming from a place where I'm doing 2 majors, but it's definitely not necessary. It's something that I've considered for a long time. I'll be perfectly happy with one of the majors. And so I would just, it's kind of like a you do you thing, but definitely don't feel pressured to do 2 majors because someone else is doing it.
The Northwestern Career Advancement Center actually found, doing a research study, that employers found that 0% of their employers were hiring students who had more than 1 major. They don't really care that much if you have a double major. Do what's interesting to you, not what you feel pressured.
Well, I think that goes on to like your learning, and like this is like a previous question. Is like for me, like a lot of the learning I've done on campus hasn't been like just from directly from my major. It's been my involvement outside of the classroom as well. But it is possible to double major if that's something that you wish to do. And going off with the quarter system too. So I like started like minor because I really like the classes, but like I didn't feel the need or the pressure from like the university or from like career to like finally get that like certificate. It's about what I'm getting like from those experiences in those classes, and what I think is like sufficient for me.
But to answer your question, like, yes, it can be done. I have a double major in Medill and in Weinberg, and it's doable. So this one is from Emmy. How easy is it to do study abroad programs? Is the Qatar campus an option for students?
I just came back from studying abroad over the summer. I guess not just. It seems like so like long. Yeah, but so over the summer I was in Bolivia, and I did a program through Northwestern, and it's very easy to study abroad. through different Northwestern departments or through outside departments as well. That is something that like most people wait until the end of their sophomore year to go abroad. So I went summer of my sophomore year. And so that's something that like you shouldn't be worrying about too much right now. But it is like very possible, and a lot of Northwestern students do study abroad. And specifically, I did my program through Northwestern, and so like I got like scholarship for, like through like the university.
For your question about the Qatar campus, the only campuses that we coordinate are the School of Journalism and the School of Communications. But if you're really interested in that program, you can go onto the website. They have some really wonderful information. Those are the only majors that they have there, though. So
they actually do offer, for the past couple of years, they've been offering a spring break trip to Qatar, which you have to like kind of apply for. I'm not sure how competitive it is, but they take like students from any school, any major, any background to go to Qatar for spring break. I know somebody who's done it. They said it was a super interesting experience. So that's something to look into, I guess.
how should I prepare for the Chicago winters? Ooh, we are just exiting those right now, especially if I'm not from the Midwest. That's from Destiny.
Well, oh, you can go for it. We're both Midwest. We'll jump right on that question. Go for it.
Well, so I'd say definitely layering is a big thing. Yeah, just having been from or being from Chicago, I find that putting on lots of layers of clothes and lots of layers of socks is really helpful for the winter and the snow. And right now we're having a really mild winter, which is kind of nice because we don't have to wear like really big heavy jackets. But in the winters that require heavy jackets, it's good to have a nice jacket and also have like sweaters and turtlenecks and things like that.
I'm from Los Angeles, where we don't really have winter. It's pretty much a mix there. But you absolutely don't have to like drop thousands of dollars on your coat.
Or even hundreds.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's completely untrue that you need to spend a small fortune on your coat. Like Amaki said, layering.
It's important to remember that Chicago weather is pretty unpredictable. So today it's like 62 degrees, but over the weekend and before there was a lot of snow. So layering is an important part. You will be putting on a lot of layers and possibly taking off some layers on your way to class. Just making sure you have some versatility in your wardrobe would be great. A couple sweaters and a jacket, but nothing too extravagant.
I think I keep an umbrella, dry socks, and a sweater in my bag. Like, always.
Yeah. You'll learn to check the weather every time you leave your room.
Every time you leave a building.
Yeah.
Also, there's especially in like the like extreme cold winter, there's these things called frostbite.
Oh
Oh no!
Okay, we're back. Hi.
Hello. Hey!
Are we there? Can you see us?
It says live.
Say something.
Yes.
Clap once. Oh yes, snap us.
Blink your eyes.
I'm gonna say we're going.
Okay.
Okay. You're good. We're good.
We're
We're
good.
good. Okay. Hi. So somebody mentioned on the Facebook page about a new financial aid move that Northwestern made. Can you talk about what that means? That's what Regina is wondering.
Yeah, so this is a pretty recent change in the financial aid package, and it's amazing. What we know about it is that students coming in who do have high need-based packages will be receiving the amount of financial aid that is necessary to get them through their 4 years and beyond at Northwestern without any loans. So what is particularly special about this is that it also takes into account undocumented students in high schools who would have not had the opportunity otherwise to financially pay for higher ed or the particular opportunity to even attend a university like Northwestern. So it's a big deal as a university, of course, because we know that there are students who come from low SES backgrounds and who can't afford to pay a lot of what Northwestern entails. And so I think that as a university, it's something that and as a student group in general, like we're all extremely proud of that move made on the part of our university and thinking about the opportunity of students in different backgrounds that we'll be getting to, engage with now that this move has been made.
I'd say specifically with respect to your own financial aid package, going through Caesar, the financial aid website, and then also there's a student finance services website. So it's just like northwestern.edu/SFS. You can head over there to get individualized answers to your questions and how your financial aid package will be affected, whether now or later, because we don't have the answers to that.
So this is a question from Daniel. How long are breaks at Northwestern with the quarter system? Do they usually coincide with breaks that my friends at a semester school might be having? Pertinent, because our break's in 2 weeks.
2 weeks till spring break. Yay!
I can answer that. Breaks, they coincide probably the standard amount that other schools do. So our winter break is about 3 weeks, give or take, based on when your finals end. And there are parts of that do overlap with other schools. It depends on other schools as well, but I usually do get to see my friends over winter break. And then spring break varies by every college, not just Northwestern. I know local colleges in the area like University of Illinois, we overlap with them. A lot of my friends go there. So I do get to see my friends on spring break as well. Summer break is a little bit different, about 12 weeks, I want to say, 3 months. We get out in mid-June, which is definitely different from other schools because they usually get out in mid-May. That is not an issue though. We just start later, which is great, and they all go back to school and you get to make fun of them. But you still get to see them for the summer as well because you still at least have 2 months of overlapping time.
Yeah, this is a question from Adele that's kind of piggybacking off that. How does the whole internship process work for the summer given the quarter system? And is it easy in an internship?
Well, Adele. I'm sorry. Chris just accepted an internship.
It works out really easily. It's great.
But yeah, so I guess like thinking about internships and what that looks like for like kind of like taking what you learn in the classroom and applying it to the real world. After the first year specifically, some students do choose to pursue internships. We know that a majority do go home for that summer and stay close to home and work or find something else to do or just kind of hang out at home. But Northwestern does have an office, the Northwestern Office of Career Advancement, or NCA. Is really helpful in both like helping you prepare for like being successful in an internship and also like acquiring an internship and also working with employers and bringing them to campus. And then like just thinking about like having an internship over the summer, I will say like there's also a ton of other experiences to have in mind, whether that's doing research, traveling, whether it's a study abroad program or just doing more of a cultural immersion trip. So there's definitely just like so many opportunities and offices and funding here to support you for whatever you want to do over the summer. It's a really valuable time to kind of explore your interests outside of the classroom.
I will add that the majority of students don't do internships after their first summers, after their freshman year. So definitely don't worry about it too much. Have fun. Yeah.
I know the schedule is a little bit different, but I worked in the Senate this summer and I was able to work out with my boss a way that I could start later and stay later. And I actually found it to be kind of like a leg up because when all of the other interns left at the beginning of August, I had another month to stay and get to know the staff. So it ended up being kind of like an advantage for me that our internship schedule wasn't exactly the same as everyone else on semester schools. So even though it's possible that you could have an issue because you can't start as early, I think the benefits outweigh the negatives.
Sometimes that's like a really attractive thing that employers look for because they are looking to fill that space when they know that the majority of students go back to their semester schools. Then we can still stay throughout August and even the beginning of September.
So what is the difference between club sports and intramural sports? And is there a certain skill level I need to have? This is from Thomas.
We love
Maybe looking at
I am sports.
I can answer it. You don't need to have a certain skill level. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm not very athletic.
He just really likes the gym.
No, there is a difference between club and intramural sports. Club sports are usually kind of a year-round thing. It is like a club that you join. That is if you're very serious about the sport and you are interested in kind of practicing more often, like following tournament schedules. Intramural sports, there are 3 seasons of intramural sports that coincide with the 3 quarters. Different sports are offered in each quarter. So there's like basketball in the winter, soccer in the spring. There's some other stuff, like there's different sports. You can check them out at Northwestern University Recreation, their websites where all the gym hours are and everything as well. But skill levels, there's 3 different leagues for each sport as well. So there's purple, white, and co-rec. So there's a competitive league for those who want to be competitive or have the higher skill levels. There's the co-rec league for those that just want to have fun with friends. And there's also kind of the, I think it's called the purple, and then there's the white league, which is the less skilled or those that just want to try out the sport. So there's definitely different skill levels, and there's really no restrictions at all. And you can sign up your own teams. You don't even have to be with like a certain student group. You just have to know what teams you want to use.
That's for intramurals. Right?
Yeah, that was for
Yeah, for
intramurals.
club sports, I would add, I'm a member of a club sport here, and you can probably look for tryout information specific to that, knowing whatever sport you might be interested in. You could probably just also look for them through Wildcat Connection, which Isaac had mentioned earlier, or through the recreation website. But you wouldn't miss anything like that because of Wildcat Welcome. So you can expect all of those dates to happen either at the Involvement Expo or the Activities Fair.
Oh, actually, I think tryouts for club soccer are during Wildcat Welcome.
Yeah, I think that's the only
yeah.
one.
That's the only one.
So, club soccer,
Make it work.
if you want to do that.
So how often do students from different schools, like the Dill, Beanon, and McCormick, interact with one another? And how often can a student from one school take classes in another? That's Victoria.
I can talk about it a little bit. I just addressing the second part of that question as far as how often can a student take classes outside of their own specific school. As a Beanon student, I've taken tons of classes outside of Beanon. I think I would personally go crazy if I only took classes in Beanon. I've taken a wide variety of classes. Everywhere from an intro to sculpture class to an upper level environmental policy class. And I've loved all of those classes. They're amazing. And it's been really great to meet students outside of my own school in those classes. And also just meeting people in extracurricular kinds of environments. I don't know. What does people help?
I would say just like specifically, again, this goes back to like your res hall, but like my roommates that I live with now, like we're all different majors. And I think there's so much like value in that because like one of my roommates is like a dance major compared to like engineering. So like I probably like meeting like a dance major like from comm was because of my residence hall. And so like that's just like a great experience.
So this next question is coming from Lillian. What is the process like if we are interested in switching undergraduate schools?
So, if you're thinking about switching undergraduate schools at this moment in time, you can email the Office of Undergraduate Admissions. It's ug-admission@northwestern.edu. And if like later on in the summer, like let's say August, July, September, you decide that you're thinking about switching schools, then you'll do that on campus working with your undergraduate school and your advisor. And again, like even once classes start, like you definitely have time to find your path. And switch there if you see that it's relevant. Like no one expects you to know exactly what you want to do when you're coming into Northwestern, and that's a beautiful thing.
I will say I'm an interschool transfer. I started in Weinberg and moved into Medill. Moving from any school into a non-Weinberg school requires an application that varies in terms of competitiveness based on the school, but generally there's a pretty good rate of acceptance. And then at any time you can switch into Weinberg, and that process is very simple. So, as someone who's coming from the West Coast, what are the places in Evanston that one should visit to get acquainted with the city and the Midwest in general? This is from Jack.
I will say Andy's for sure.
What is Andy's, Ben?
So it's a ice cream custard.
Custard.
Custard place that a lot of students love. Maybe Elizabeth can
We can go get some Andy's after.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't have to talk extensively about Andy's.
Evanston also has like one of the most beautiful movie theaters I think I've ever been to. I come from New York also, and we've plenty of movie theaters there, but Century 21 Theater, it's pretty amazing kind of like the range of films that you actually get there, because you'll get all the big wide releases, but there's also an entire other section of the movie theater called Cine Arts, and that has all like the independent films that like are like never really like get wide releases, and the stuff that you can only see in like New York City or Los Angeles. Evanston also gets them. So
What?
Here?
I had no
I
idea.
would do that.
That's
That's
like
amazing.
What?
Cine Arts is my life. So,
So being from the West Coast myself, West Coast, I would say that just exploring Evanston, walking around, it's a super walkable city, and just like exploring, going with friends. There are a lot of Evanston locals who go to Northwestern, and like my best friend is from Evanston, so I tend to rely on her to find the best spots. But getting to know the Midwest backwards in general is pretty easy. I've gone on day trips to Michigan, to Wisconsin. I spent a lot of time downtown. I think just exploring your life outside of Evanston is the best way to get to know it. Just like getting outside of the bubble.
Cool.
So, is the food at Northwestern expensive, and is it good? This is from Bianca.
Oh, go ahead.
I would say specifically, like, you will be getting a meal plan with, like, as a freshman, like, your first year, your first quarter, you'll be assigned a meal plan, and you will get fed. And like Amaki said, like, I was worried about, like, 14 meals. What does that mean when you divide by 7? Like, it's going to be more than enough food than you can imagine, like, in all the dining halls. And so no worries about, like, getting food. And then you can go on.
Yeah, I've been waiting to talk about this, like, since the Hangout started. Northwestern has, like, some of the best, like, food options out of any school that I ever visited or any of my friends talk about. One of the coolest things that we have here is, like, late night dining options. There are 2 major ones, one South Campus, one North Campus. Fran's is on South Campus and Lisa's is up north. And they have like made to order sandwiches of really any variety. Some make burgers, they make paninis, they make salad, there's coffee at all hours. And they're usually open, Fran's open until 2 and Lisa's is open like indefinitely. So if you like are like me and you need to eat like 8 times a day and you need to eat at 2 in the morning, you can go there and you can still hang out with friends, you can do some more work there, and you can also eat some really good food.
One thing I noticed is that the meal options here are like pretty, like there's a lot of vegan and vegetarian options as well, which is really nice. Like
Gluten-free.
And gluten-free options. So they're like Northwestern Dining is like really sensitive to those kinds of things. And I know somebody who works for Northwestern Dining who like graduated last year. So like she like graduated and then is working for them now. And like they do a lot of interesting things with like culinary arts and stuff. So
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we were voted best food on campus last year.
probably.
Best university.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
good choice, guys. This is our last question. So
Oh,
keep asking about which specific building they should live in. Stereotypes of res colleges versus residential communities versus residential halls. Which are the best?
Yeah.
I mean, I just there is no best. The buildings like residents change every year, and so you guys are residents for it next year. It's really about all the people that you live with. There is no right choice for you to make. That being said, what we said earlier is when you do choose, you select your top 3 choices. You don't choose like a single top choice. And again, it's just whoever ends up in that building with you, it's going to be your floor mates. So yeah.
And I think that one thing to also keep in mind is that like maybe last year, like a lot of students in a specific res hall shared something in common. But every year the group of students that's coming into a res hall completely changes. So there's no way of like knowing, like if you even heard like a stereotype of a dorm in the past, there's no way of knowing if that'll hold true the year after, because it's a completely new different group of people. And it's really the people that make the res hall, not like the bricks and cement and like whatever people are making build, you know, like steel and stuff. That's just like another thing to keep in mind.
Absolutely.
And like also don't really have preconceived notions, and I feel like that's what he's saying. Don't like have expectations, because you're gonna make your own experience, and so like that's important. Just like go with it and expect the best, because you're gonna make it the best for you.
Yeah. I mean, I think that the differences between North and South Campus aren't really that strong. Like, you're gonna love your experience, and you're gonna get in what you put out of it. It's your dorm room, your residential hall experience is gonna be what you make of it. Yeah. So we just wanted to thank all of you for tuning in tonight. We're so excited to take your questions, to learn a little bit about what you're thinking about. We're spending a lot of time thinking about your first experience, and we're excited to share that with you. Keep asking questions on our Facebook page. Keep like looking to us for advice. We're always here for you.
Facebook message us.
Yeah, Facebook message us individually. Facebook message each other. This is your new community. Get excited about it. Please use the New Student and Family Programs website. It literally has the answers to all of your questions. If you are worried about something, I promise you it is on that website. Regular students are coming soon, so get ready to welcome some wonderful new friends to our Facebook page. We're excited. We're excited. We cannot wait to see you in September, you guys. We're so excited for you. We've been working so hard all year. We can't wait. Bye, guys.
Bye.